Everyone, how's everyone doing today? I'm glad you guys are making it on. And for those of you who don't know, we are having a special show every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. It's called Aligned Energies Live. And so I'm excited for you guys who are watching this for the first time. If someone tagged you or if someone shared this with you, I personally don't believe in coincidence. I think I believed in coincidence maybe before the year 2000, but then something happened to me where I said, you know what, enough's enough. There's something going on there where we're being directed to our higher selves, and we just need to be open to it. And so there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're watching this. And so if this is your first time here, go ahead and put a 1 down there, and that'll let us know that this is your first time here. And I'm excited because obviously birds of a feather flock together. I like to associate with people that are up to big things, people that are changing the world little by little, and helping a lot of people all over the world. And so that's why we have Poppy here, who's obviously she's spreading the word as we speak. So if you see her kind of distracted a little bit, is because she's doing some work to make sure that all these broadcasts are out there. But just to give you a quick introduction on myself, for those of you who this is the first time you meet me, my name is Emmanuel. I work for Coding Alternative. I'm a body code practitioner. I was certified back in May 2016 under Dr. Bradley Nelson's tutelage. He wrote the book, The Emotion Code, which I believe is it's actually going to be coming out. It's been 11 years now since the book's been out. And what's really great is it's actually going to be republished again from a very huge publisher. And I think one of my stories is going to be in the book, a testimonial of this thing called the Heart Wall, which we'll talk about later on. And so I'm excited that there's going to be some more scientific data going on with that book, and kind of how this powerful energy healing modality is changing lives all over the world. I think we have about 4,000 emotion code practitioners in about 60 countries, and there's about 900 body code practitioners, and me being one of them. So I'm excited to be here. And obviously, Poppy needs no introduction, but everyone, if you don't know Poppy, then you're missing out on life. But I'd love for her to, just kind of share real quick, who she is, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about what is the emotion code, a little bit about the heart wall, and then we're gonna actually do a live healing session with Poppy. This is actually her second heart wall session. So if you haven't seen the video, there's another first heart wall session portion, and we're doing an actual emotion code healing on the spot, so you guys can see what it looks like. So Poppy, if you want to just kind of share a little bit about yourself, your background, and then we'll get started.
Well, hello, my name is Poppy Sprague. I'm a transformational psychologist, psychotherapist. I teach self-mastery online. I have a number of different programs about assertion, becoming your best you, really. I'm a psychotherapist and a coach as well. And, long story really as to why I gravitated towards this wonderful man, but he's doing incredible work. I'm always looking to meet people who can aid me to learn more, be healthier. And we've worked this out, that I get to be somebody that gets manipulated online for us all to share what on earth this tradition, emotion code, body code, is doing. And I'm here, it's all out here on the table for us to witness, because I'm about sharing, being the best of me. So this is real time stuff going on, and we're just being here authentic, showing up for you so that we can all learn. Hooray.
All right, yeah, definitely hooray. And I'm so grateful for you being here. And like I said, it's not easy, I think, just to one thing is to get healed. I usually do healing sessions, on Zoom or on the phone call. But Poppy, for the fact that she's, in her profession, how many people she's helped, she has a great influence over people. She's really putting herself out there saying I bleed too. I'm working on myself too. I am a portrait being made, a painting being made, great art being formed, and it's not easy to do it in public. So I'm really grateful for your openness and your transparency. I appreciate that. And so we're gonna get this healing party started. What I want to do is I want to talk about what is the emotion code super fast, maybe in 1 quick minute what it is. That way, for those of you who are brand new, you guys can get a glimpse of what it is. But basically, it's an energy healing modality, similar to Reiki healing, Theta healing. There's different amazing energy healing modalities out there. I think more people are now turned on by alternative medicine and holistic therapy more than ever, because the reality is we've already been given our first option of what to take. I think the medication route and the big pharma has definitely taken taken a toll in regards to people are saying, you know what, I'm starting to feel numb, or I'm starting to not feel like myself, or I'm starting to get addicted to pills. And I think so. There's that run. There's that run they did, and then they're like, but where do I go now? And then people look at like books like The Emotion Code, and they go, maybe this is an alternative route. What do I have to lose to see if this energy healing modality works for me? And so Dr. Brad was as a chiropractor. So he, it's funny, Dr. Brad wasn't born an energy healer. Like he didn't just like, brought to this earth and he like had a bid that said, I'm going to be a future energy healer. He was a chiropractor for 20 years. And it's interesting that this type of work came because of a need, because he started looking at patients that unfortunately were dealing with a lot of physical ailments, incurable diseases. And he just was tired of seeing that all the time. And so he wanted to find a way to help them out. Obviously, he's a chiropractor. His extensive knowledge only goes so far. So there has to be some other way. So he was kind of asking for some help, kind of, he's praying. And he found out that, that he should go back in ancient cultures where they believe that your organs are these frequency generators. And basically, I thought it all came up from here, but the organs are producing these energies the size of a tennis ball or cantaloupe. And we're feeling these emotions through our body. But the problem is if you have an overcharged emotion, it gets stuck in your body. These little energies can get stuck near the organ or weak links in the body. So for example, liver is anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, resentment. And that's why when you drink a lot of alcohol or take a ton of caffeine, what happens? Anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, resentment can come out pretty quickly. And there's about 60 different emotions that can get stuck in the body. And these are the 3 symptoms of it. Number 1 is it can irritate the tissues of your body over time. Number 2 is it can create multiple emotional and physical symptoms. So, sinus issues, headaches, migraines, back pain, all these different types of physical symptoms, asthma, infertility, fibromyalgia, all these different things. Or it can also create emotional disorders, like depression, bipolar, PTSD, and things like that. There could be energetic imbalances in the body. And the third thing is it also makes you very reactive. So for those of you who don't know, if you just look in the mirror, you could probably notice that we're a very reactive society. If you don't think we're reactive, just make like one little political post on Facebook right now and see what happens to you. We're in a very reactive society. And as soon as we feel something or hear something, boom, this is how we react. And the reality is that's not really who we are. That's why we tend to have like a sort of a very quick, either a quick one or a delayed apology that says, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't really mean to do that. See, you're apologizing for your reactivity that the trapped emotion created for you, but you're behind that. So you're actually probably calm, peaceful James Bond with a martini, but these 300 to 400 trapped emotions don't make you act like the James Bond that you are. And so imagine if we can be less reactive, we'd be way more productive in our workplace, as a spouse, as in many different things. And so Dr. Brad, let's get into the heart wall now. So Dr. Brad, he found out that, has anyone ever felt that feeling where your heart feels heavy or it feels like it's going to break? A lot of people have felt that during emotional trauma, right? And so Poppy has, and so I'll raise my hand too. And what's interesting is that when that happens, we're one step closer to this thing called broken heart syndrome, BHS, or what they call balloon heart. And, maybe 30 years ago, Mayo Clinic cardiologists would be like, well, emotional trauma, that sounds a little woo-woo. But now if you ask them, they say, what's the main culprit for broken heart syndrome? It is emotional trauma. Like I even saw a video where they were like on a very huge network station, and he was saying, he's like, oh yeah, we have people die of BHS all the time. Usually it's because of, and they say emotional trauma, stress at work, divorce, death in the family. So literally they're more awakened now that they're saying emotional trauma is what triggers this physical symptom. And so, and what's really interesting is Dr. Brad kind of launched the book around the time where people were accepting that fact that emotional trauma can affect the heart. So, coincidence? I think not. And so now more than ever, people are realizing that, yes, emotional trauma definitely affects us. And the problem is that what makes the heart stop? No one knows. That's kind of like the mystery of the world, is like, what makes the heart stop hurting? No one knows. And Dr. Brad, he had a vision about this. I'm not going to go into the vision, but he had this vision where he basically got information that the trapped emotions that you have in your body, let's say you have multiple of them, if you feel panic, you'll find the panic trapped emotion and place it over the heart. Now you have a panic wall over the heart. If you're feeling depression, even in the womb, let's say your mom felt depression and you're there swimming in the 3 to 6 month trimester, you felt her depression. So now you have a depression wall over your heart. And a lot of mothers are like, why is my kid like this? Why, what's going on? Obviously, don't do any food coloring and M&Ms. Obviously that increases ADD and stuff. But besides that, it's probably because the bun in the oven was being programmed. And so there's more and more studies showing that baby is going on the same roller coaster ride as the mother. That's why there's some Eastern Western studies that show that some Asian cultures, as soon as they have a baby, they kind of shut the man out a little bit. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but they kind of shut the man. He's probably full of drama. They start eating healthier. They start meditating. Why would that woman culture do that? It's because they realize that they're affecting their baby. And that's why when the baby comes out, it's this calm, docile lamb. It's because they program that baby to be that way. You see, while here in America, who knows what happens to the woman naturally? The job, losing their job, marital issues. I mean, you name it. The woman's kind of getting torn left and right, and that baby's kind of taking the hits. And so hopefully one day our culture will be awakened and be like, hey, be careful with that baby in there. Be careful with that baby. Be more conscious that babies are going through things. And so we create these walls, and as we stack them, there's 5 symptoms of the heart wall. So if you have a pen with you, you might want to write this down, because this is actually the greatest discovery of energy healing history. And I didn't really believe it at first until I worked on 12 PTSD veterans who suffered with major trauma. Some people have been 11 years of war. And for them to say that they felt reborn through the emotion code and body code was absolutely mind-blowing to me. I mean, to lose PTSD symptoms in less than 6 hours to me is just it's unheard of. You don't see that. And so there's obviously something big coming. And here are the 5 symptoms of the heart wall, and then we're gonna get to the healing. Number 1 is a low immune system, low energy. That's number 1. Number 2 is lack of clarity of your mission in life. And maybe you might know your mission, but it's only mentally confirmed, but not confirmed by the heart. Once it's confirmed by the heart, you'll have more happiness, joy, and elation. How many of you guys want more happiness, joy, and elation, right? That's the second thing. The third thing is desensitized heart. It creates a numb heart. How many of you guys felt? Go ahead and put like a 2 down there. Actually a 3, since we're in the third point. Put a 3 down there. If you felt like when you're in a relationship, you tend to see people give you love and affection, but you don't really feel it. It doesn't really fill up your cup. And how many of you guys look back too and you're like, what was I thinking staying in that horrible job with that abusive boss for a long time? Or why did I stay with that person for 10, 15 years when it was so abusive? Why did I get out of that? Very simple. Heart wall is the reason why you stay there, because think about it. You're numbing your heart. Then, so you don't already feel much. And then on top of that, they abuse you, emotionally abuse you. So then you create a heart wall while you're sleeping at night, and you wake up and guess what? You're more numb than you were the day before. You see, so it's this vicious cycle where you stay in toxic relationships that you shouldn't tolerate. And then the fourth one is your love language gets lost in translation. So for example, it's proven now through Heart Math Institute that your heart sends out an electromagnetic frequency from 10 to 12 feet. And so you're actually affecting the brain waves of other people. So think about that. When you walk into Starbucks, it's not just what your voice, it's not just your body posture that's giving signals to people. You're actually sending messages to people. And the thing is, if you have trauma in front of your heart, you can just imagine what's happening to that message. Dr. Brad said it's like a beautiful butterfly coming out of your heart, and then it has to go through depression, anger, sadness, fear. And by the time it's like a little bat, he actually does this little bat thing. It's a bat, that signal that you're sending people. People go, whoa, I don't know if I like you. I don't know if I trust you. Or I want to get aggressive with you now because I don't like your energy, you see? But that's not really who you are. So you actually had a butterfly when you got started, but the trauma breaks that butterfly down to where it's a mixed message to someone. So it's very hard to stay in a relationship, very hard to keep the contention out of the way. And the fifth one is abundance and wealth. I mean, how many of you guys feel like you guys can get more abundance into your life? The heart wall could actually be blocking that. And so those are the 5 symptoms. And Poppy's gonna be our awesome person here who's gonna be open for me to work on her heart wall for the second time. So if you haven't seen the first video yet, this is the second one. This is the second time we're kind of releasing layers from her heart wall. So we're looking for specific moments where she felt emotional trauma that affected her heart. So before we get started, Poppy, do you have any questions before we launch into this healing?
Nope.
No questions. Okay, it's good. So we're gonna get this going here, and I want to say hi to Elvia, Lisa, Linda, Ariel. Thank you guys all for coming here. If you guys, this is the thing is, I want to share one quick thing before we get started. Is that the reality is our world that we live in right now, it really doesn't consist of like all the people on your phone. There's really just maybe like 10 to 15 people that are like really, really close to you, you know? So if you want to change your world, all you have to do is let them know that they have a heart wall, let them know that they have trapped emotions and that they're not being their truest self. And so there's videos, if you look up heart wall 15 minutes or emotion code 15 minutes, you can send it to them, let the videos do all the work for you. And you're, by them changing their world, they're changing your world as well. I mean, I would rather be in a bus from California, driving all the way from California to New York with people with less baggage, less reactivity, less trauma in front of their heart than you know, all that baggage, you know, in there. And then it would be a very crazy bus ride. Let's just say that, you know. And so, all right, so let's get started. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take 10 seconds in our mind just to kind of ask for help. So, you know, like this isn't some type of religious-based thing. It's just kind of like just to take time for yourself, meditate for 10 seconds, and then we're gonna jump right into it and we're gonna start working with your wall. Sound good? Everyone can do that too. If you guys wanna join in, go ahead and do that. All right. So let's get started here. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to energetically connect with her. I use muscle testing, which is, you know, asking questions. And then if she was here, I'd be pushing down on her arm. But since she's not here, I'm going to use my fingers. And then I'm going to use a magnet. Well, technically, do I have my magnet? I do. Just to show you guys, I do have a magnet here. I think you guys might find it kind of interesting. This is what I typically would use on someone's back if they were here with me currently. So if Poppy was here, I would use this on her back because I would be rubbing this on what they call her governing meridian, which runs from the top of her lip all the way to the spine, the back of the spine. And that's, you know, in Chinese medicine, it's kind of like the motherboard of her body. And so, but because she's not there, I would do it on myself. I would release it. I would use it on my governing meridian, and it would release from her body the energy. Okay, so
last Wednesday's episode, because we're doing this each Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Last week's episode, you go into a lot more detail about how you're using kinesiology, so on. If people want to see, because it's fascinating.
Yeah, and it's and like I said, it's very, very, what we need to tap into is the subconscious, you know. And like, for example, if I told Poppy, "What did you eat for breakfast 6 days ago?" She'd be like, you know, and maybe you do remember that. Actually, Poppy's pretty amazing. She could remember that actually. So, but you know, what we're trying to tap into is the subconscious brain, which basically remembers everything that's ever happened to you, every tear you've dropped, every corner you've turned, every person you've embraced. It's all in there in 1080p camera. That's what we want to tap into, because that's the answers for why you're at where, you know, why you're being the way you are. And so. So we're going to look for some trauma here and release this from her heart wall. And we're just going to go one by one. And I'm just going to ask Poppy, like, hey, do you remember anything around this time, this emotion? And because we both asked for help, you know, usually her intuition might be a little bit higher. But here's the cool thing, guys. If you don't want to mention what happened, let's say you're a very private person, like, I don't want to, first of all, I don't do these lives all the time with people, but if you're kind of a private person, you can just say, you know, oh, I know what that is. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, great, let's release it. So what I love about this work, I mean, the slogan for our practice is called "Less talk, more healing." You see, and so I think people find delight in knowing that you don't have to share for us to release this energy and to feel more peace. So I know I helped out one person.
Then you come to me, because for me, the shame that's attached with the stories, that's the thing that can keep us stuck. So of course. We're a good double act, you and I.
Yeah. It's like a double duo, like Batman and Robin. I could be Robin if you want. So let's get started here. So see, so my name is Poppy. So see, my name is Emmanuel. See, my body says no, you're not Emmanuel, and basically I'm just putting my needs to the side and I'm connecting with her. So I'm gonna say, do you still have a heart wall? Body said yes. So I'd like to release an emotion from the heart wall. So let's see what we find here. My phone just disappeared. Here it is. Okay. So. Thank you guys for all being so patient. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to kind of put it in the comments section. And at some point, we'll both chime in. I know Poppy and I at midnight we'll be chiming in and seeing what we can answer. Okay, so let's see the first one here. Okay, so the first one, it's bitterness, being bitter about something. Let's see what this comes to. Poppy never gets bitter. Let's see, 40 years old now, 40, 30, 20, 20, 21, 22. It's around 28 years old. So anything ring a bell around 28 could be like work-related, relationship, but something like being bitter at 28.
Oh my word, yes.
Okay, you don't have to mention it. We can just okay. So does it have to do with what she's thinking about? Watch this. Yeah, body says yeah. So let's just release this bitterness here. Okay, so to release this one, body said yes. I don't have to use the mat. You can use the edge of your fingers too, if you can do that. So did we release it? And body said yes. Okay, so let's see. Are there any other? Can we see another emotion from the heart wall? Body said yes. Let's keep doing. I'm going to keep asking until the body says no, which basically means let me heal from this. So. Okay, this next one here. So indecisiveness. So basically, these are trapped emotions, but like I said, they're placed over the heart. So they weren't just strong indecisiveness. It was like strong, so strong that it affected the heart. And let me see. This is 4 years old now. 43. This is recent. 30, 31, 32, 33. So it's around 34, just 6 years ago. Something that you're kind of like, should I do this? Should I do that? Something you like. And like I said, this could be give or take a year. It could be 33, 35. Anything ring a bell with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So let's. Do we need to know more about that? No. Okay. So let's just release this indecisiveness here. Okay. Release that one. Body said yes. Okay.
It's funny here because I kind of feel protective of the audience because I'm mindful that some people who are watching this episode today maybe haven't seen, how vocal I've been about the things he's picking up on. So maybe I'll comment a couple of things on the other one, but because it would be very easy for me to just go, yes and no, sir, 3 bags full. Isn't he great? Everyone's like, that was crap. So I'm very prepared to be straight with you about it.
Okay, yeah. Like anytime you feel, let's say, prompted to share what it was, just let me know. And sometimes, like I said, 2 thoughts might come up. What I love about this work is that I can muscle test which one it was. And so you might be like, it's either my job or a guy. I can muscle test both. Sometimes it's both. And for those people who are like, man, I really wish I knew what it was, and then I could ask questions. I can do like kind of like deduct what it is. I can be like, were you at work there? Were you at home? Were you in a relationship? And then I'll muscle test all 3. And then the body will be like, oh, it was something at home. In fact, what I'll say is it siblings? Is it parents? Oh, it's a parent. One parent? Okay, mother, father. Okay, so it was a father thing. Then they're like, oh, wait a minute. I got in this explosive fight with my father that year. Boom, that's what it was. You see? So we can kind of like also deduct it as well. So we got insecurity here. So let's see where this is. See, 40 years old now, 40, 30, 20, 10. So 10, 11, 12, 10, 11. It's around 12 years old. So little Poppy there, little cute little Poppy. But anything ring a bell around 12, like, maybe school or home? Anything ring a bell?
In terms of a particular emotion?
Oh, yeah, insecurity, feeling insecure. It's like a strong insecurity around 12.
That was a hideous time.
Okay. All right, let's release this.
That's when actually I started. So you said 12. Around then I stopped eating. That's when anorexia kicked in at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Horrendous time.
Yeah, anything to do with that time. Oh yeah, see, body said yeah. So I'll just say it in my mind, I'll be like, is there anything to do with like anorexia? And around that time, body's like, for sure. Okay. Okay, this next one here. Your bitterness killed. So resentment, not being treated fairly. Okay, let's see where this comes in. 40 years old now, 43. It's recent, 33, 1, 2, 3, 67. It's actually just 2 years ago. So something 2 years ago, we're just like, nah, I'm not being treated fairly here, right?
Oh my word! I know what that is. Definitely.
Okay. All right. So let's release that one for sure. Release this resentment here. By the way, one of the cool things about working with the heart wall, you can say, for example, when did you start your heart wall? And one time I found this third trimester. For example, if I ask you, let's see, is it 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, third? So yours was like second trimester is when Poppy started it, right? So there could have been like an emotional hiccup around second trimester with your mom, and then your heart felt some pain inside the womb, and then boom, your first protection showed up. I remember working with a lady, and I said, "It says third trimester in here." And she's like, "No, Emmanuel, nothing happened in the third trimester." I'm like, "It doesn't have to be a really big thing." She's like, "No, Emmanuel, nothing happened." She was very like and I said, "Go ahead and ask your mom and ask her what happened on third trimester." And the mom's eyes went just huge because she's like, who are you talking with? And she's like, some healer guy said that something happened on third trimester, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I haven't told you the truth. Remember how I told you how my father was always, your father was always gone all the time because of work and traveling. He actually was in jail because he tried to stab me around third trimester. So this is what I'm saying. So little things like that kind of prove again, and that doesn't have to be that crazy for you to have a heart wall there. It could have just literally been a very heavy discussion with your mom and your dad over dinner, and then because you're this sensitive little empath in the womb, you could have got it. So that's kind of a more drastic story. But okay, let's see here.
Suzanne's saying every time you release an emotion from me, she feels the need to take a deep breath. She's saying, why does that happen? Is that empathy or what is that?
That's exactly what that is. Yeah, she's. I guarantee this isn't the first time she's being sensitive to energies. I think she's a very sensitive, empathic person. And there's ways to do that. For example, in the body code, there's this thing called body code alignment sessions where you can make an affirmation statement, check the percentage on how much your body believes it, and then use the body code and release energies to move the percentage to 100%. All of a sudden you're strong in that area, or you have peace with that area, or whatever. One of them is I feel safe, or I feel at peace no matter what energy is around me. See, if I were to muscle test her right now, what's her name that said that? Suzanne, we could do that one day, like maybe do a body code session where we say, hey, Suzanne, how I feel complete peace no matter what negative energy is around me, or no matter what energy is being released. And then see how much your body believes that. And then if I move that, you'd actually become like more rhino skin to that. And there's a thing called a shield that you can place on yourself that Dr. Brad discovered. You can create this shield that protects you from negative energies, but allows love and positive energies in. So those are kind of two things I do for my empathic tribe friends. So, okay, let's keep going.
A lot of them here. A lot of them.
All right, let's see what this next one is here. Yeah, if there's any questions out there, I can definitely. Okay, this next one. My favorite word, betrayal. Just kidding, it's not my favorite word. Okay, so let's see. It says 40 years old now, 40, 30, 20, 10, 11, 12. It's around 19 years old. There's something around 19 where you felt kind of betrayed. Is it like family or friends, school, work?
I was in America waiting for my boyfriend to come, and he didn't come. He decided he what did he say? I'm a big fish in a small pond, Poppy. America's too scary. I moved here for me, and he said, I'm coming. Independently, he wanted to come. I was going anyway, and he didn't come. It was really a sad time.
Yeah, anything to do with that. So you can see why that would cause heartbreak, especially like you'll be very surprised if you've been through a divorce. Get ready for some heart walls that probably showed up. But even in this relationship with her heart's open to this male. A lot easier for it to be broken, And so let's release this betrayal here. I'll make sure to send him the invoice.
Yes, please. No, he's a lovely man. It was just, it was what it was,
I always tell my clients, I'm like, you can take the high road and be nice to him. I'll take the low road.
Yeah, good, brilliant.
Okay, let's see the next one here. Okay, this next one here. Frustration. Yeah, so feeling frustration. Okay, let's see where this one goes here. 4 years old now. It's around the same time. You've mentioned this before. The indecisiveness at 34. There was some frustration involved with that. Does that resonate with you?
34. Oh gosh, it was. Yeah,
So,
that was really rough. You know
yeah.
that.
So we've already found. See, it's funny, guys. Like, can you have a heart wall at the same age? Of course you can. You have multiple different emotion heart wall layers. And so there was frustration in 34. We've already hit 34. Indecisiveness was one of them. And she obviously admits they were both there. So let's release this frustration here. Okay, so to release this one, and Body said yes. Okay. Well,
I always feel exhausted after this. I can feel it already.
yeah, and like I said, just to let you guys know, there's a little phase called processing that happens when you do this, and you want to make sure you drink a lot of this kind. I know you're really good at drinking water, but what I'm gonna do is yeah, some people take naps afterwards. It's just your body just trying to heal from this, and so. But yeah, usually it takes about 2 days to process and heal. I always just tell people make sure you drink plenty of water. If you need to take a nap, take a nap. And then also, it's kind of like surgery. It's kind of like you don't want to just like go out there and just start, and then heart wall surgery. And then also you want to stay away from negative people, negative things. Why? Because you don't want to trigger yourself. So if someone's like, hey, let's go talk about my boyfriend that's horrible, like it's like that. Let's just kind of stay away from that. So yeah. Okay, so this next one here, let's see. Okay, so I think you have an inherited one here. Yeah, you do. Is this inherited? You have an inherited emotion. So is this inherited anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred? No, it's inherited resentment. So you've had resentment before, but this one's inherited. So why would you have an inherited wall? Basically, you had an inherited emotion in your body. So it came from your mother, your father, and it could go way generations up there, like 25, 30 generations. Even in kind of like lower class animals, they've seen how energies can get shifted down 10 levels, and so us being complex humans, I've seen today, I released someone in the morning, it was over 102 generations. I mean, we're talking like 532 BC. Some woman felt very, very strong. I remember was it a strong worry or something, and then it flushed down all the way down to her, and she said, oh my gosh, I worry all the time. Well, yeah, because it's a heavy inherited emotion from 103 generations. So she has an inherited resentment. So that means that at some point she had a resentment energy in her body, and her heart's like, I don't care where this comes from, I'm taking a trapped emotion, placing it over, oh, by the way, it's an inherited one. So that's kind of how it worked. So is this from your and by the way, anyone who gets this healing, it goes through the mom, it also goes downwards, so it's got this beautiful healing effect that goes beyond even the spirit world. And a lot of people think that's a little out there, but to be honest, I think if you really ask yourself the question, if your family is close to you or if they watch over you, something deep down inside says they do. There's something in there that says they do. So let's see here. So inherited resentment.
So, Emmanuel, are you looking at your phone at the moment?
Yeah.
Know what you're looking at. So some people who haven't seen you, because you're looking at
this. Yeah. So for those of you, thank you. For those of you who were wondering what I was looking at, I was just looking at Dr. Brad's emotion code chart. It has 60 emotions, and I'm basically asking, column A, column E, is this even, is this odd? And I'm basically I'm muscle testing her, and it's going to lead me to a square, and there's 5 emotions there. And so what happened was, I went to the square of A4. I mean, I know you can't see this, but it's A4. And then what happened was that I was muscle testing. I'm like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And guess what? Her body said no on all 5 emotions in the box. So then Dr. Brad says, that's when you ask, is it an inherited emotion? And then that's when you retest it again and look for, is it inherited blank? Is it inherited blank? And then until it says, oh, it's inherited resentment, then it locks in. Your body says, yes. Okay, then I have to find out where it came from. So someone say, is this from the father's side? No, it's from the mother's side. Okay, so your mom's going to get a healing from this. Does this go beyond mom to father? No, it's mother too. Let's go beyond that. Okay, so it's all women here. So does this pattern continue in the female line? Body said yes. Does this go beyond 3, 5, 10? So 10, 9, 8. So there's 8 generations here. So we're going to release this inherited resentment here. And then If you can, Poppy, just take a deep breath after this one. I always tell clients, okay, good, okay, because it's an inherited emotion. It's kind of a bigger, heavier one. So do release that one. Body said yes. And so I want to kind of just check up on you. I think we're like 3/4 done, and so just how do you feel over there just in general? Like, sometimes
absolutely zonk. I
zonk.
feel
Yeah.
literally.
And then hopefully you feel also that comes with too, maybe more calmer, relaxed, lighter, like, those.
I feel absolutely calm and grounded. I just feel I feel like my body wants to recover. Nothing bad at all. It's just kind of like, meh, go to sleep.
Yeah. There's some great questions here. Once you have this healing, can it reoccur? You're asking if the heart wall can reoccur. Yeah, so it can. Now the thing is, obviously, you won't reoccur one that we released from Poppy at 19. That won't show up ever again. Once it's gone, it's later. Nice knowing you. But for example, I had a friend of mine that recently passed away, and he went into it was like literally he felt sick. He was a family friend. He went into a life support, and like 2 days later, he was done. Like he was gone. It was so fast. It was crazy. And I remember I wanted to work on him, and I don't know if I shared a story with you, Poppy. I was trying to work on him, and these ladies didn't allow me to work. The family didn't allow me to work on him, and they thought I was like doing something crazy or whatever. And I was like, I know I can at least give him some relief. Like, let me help him out for free. Like, let me just help him, And they all were just very condemning me, And I was just like, and I knew it. I was like, here it comes. The heart wall is coming. I know it. And it was. I walked back to the car. I was, wiping out my tears, and I was just like, do I have a heart wall? I'm like, man, I haven't had one in a while. I'm like, well, at least I know how to release it. So I just released 2 of them and then just went driving away. So, but yeah, you can have it. If there's like some serious tragedy or a horrible breakup or death in the family, you could have it. And then you could do a sway test. If you guys want to just stand up real quick. And then someone was just mentioning a sway test over there. If you just wanted to stand up and kind of put your feet a little bit apart, the way you kind of really can know about a sway test, how it works, is if you just close your eyes and you start thinking about love, reaching your full potential, a happy world where there's lots of peace, and you just start thinking of all these beautiful things, you'll slowly start tilting forward. Like, and I've done this with like a crowd of people. They'll just slowly start tilting forward. And I didn't tell them where they were going to tilt, but they just started kind of swaying forward. Then if I said, all right, now just close your eyes and say, let's think about war, hatred, blood everywhere, guns, people shooting each other, no one reaching their potential, darkness everywhere, people are slowly swaying backwards, And so so you can ask, if you ever do have a heart wall, you could say, for example, do I have a heart wall right now? Just wait for the sway. And if you go back, then your body's saying, I don't have one. And if you move forward, your body's saying, I do have one. So that's a good way to kind of check up on yourself if you've ever had your heart wall cleared. Okay, so let's keep going here. Okay, this next one here. Vulnerability, rejoining security, heart. So effort unreceived. So that wonderful feeling of putting effort into something and it doesn't come back to you the way you want it. The body code practitioner I work on, every time I say that word, effort unreceived, he's like, oh yeah, had a lot of that in my life. But anyway, so let's see. Is this 40 years old? No. 40, 30, 4, 5, 36, 37, 38. So something just recently, around 39, just recently, something you were putting effort in, a relationship, work, something that's not really coming back the way you want it. Okay, so let's release this effort unreceived here.
Yeah, that was extraordinary. Please release that.
Okay, let's see, so release that one. Let's see, okay. All right, so the next one, abandoned, betrayal, forlorn. So feeling lost means, just not feeling grounded in some area of your life. Let's see, 40, 40, 30, 20, 10, okay, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's around like 16, like not feeling grounded. Is this like a school thing, home thing, not feeling grounded?
Hello, it's me we're talking about. It was fucking hideous.
Okay.
16, not grounded. Yeah, I felt really unsafe at that period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's release this lost here. I'm trying to remember how sensitive I was back at 16. It was probably absolutely disgusting. It's probably like writing haikus for peace, like to like make myself have peace. Let's see. So I was in military school. Yeah, I was definitely insecure there. Let's see. Can you release another emotion from the heart? Well, I'll look at your biases. No, sorry. Okay. So here's something that we can do. Just
what's it saying? My body's saying no.
yeah, my body's saying no, and then this is kind of like where I try to fight back to it. I go. You know what? You listen to me, Poppy subconscious. But no, but I don't. I'm trying to stop being so aggressive to people's subconscious. So I just go, okay, Poppy subconscious, it's fine.
So my body's going, no, leave her alone now, or what?
Yeah. If I ask, so for example, Dr. Brad said it's very, very important to just kind of when you in regards to muscle testing is to know the accuracy of, do you have one? Can I release one? And then when it says, can I release? When I say can I release one, there will be a moment where I'll say no. I'll say like just leave me alone. And then at that point you say, do you still have a heart wall? And sometimes when I do it, it says no. It's like the reason why it said stop is because I don't have one anymore. So this, in case I said, do you still have a heart wall? Your body still said yes. So you still have one. So I'll put SHHW, which is still has heart wall, right? And then here's something I want to do. So I'm just gonna like do this real quick. I always end like with this. I'd like to reset your heart chakra. For those of you who love chakras, you can just kind of reset your heart chakra by doing this, and that kind of like stabilizes her emotions while she's healing. And then I say, I program your body to process easily, peacefully, and effectively. So I learned these both by Josh Nelson, and it really helps out clients have like the best shot at like healing in the most proficient way. And so, yeah, we're pretty much done with this session. So I know you're probably going to take a huge nap after this, but did you have any questions?
There's a question for Caroline, and I have one as well, which is, when the body's saying no, is that much like in psychology with emotional defenses, where essentially, I mean, the way I understand it without your help yet, is the body's going, she needs this stuff, thanks mate, you know, she needs her protection, so you've done some work, good, let her just calm down, and then maybe I'm open to more.
Yeah, it's like there is a way to say, I don't know how to explain it, but in some ways it's kind of like the body's like, okay, you did your work, now let me do mine, you know, and let me just do the healing. Yeah, and so and that's kind of like how I look at it. I also look at it similar to I used to have these 00 earrings here, you know, because I wanted to be a cool rock star. And what's interesting was that, you know, this one guy said something to me that was very dangerous. You don't say this to people because, especially if you're gullible, you say, hey, you know, I can take your 10, which is like a really small hole, or like it's like 12 or whatever. I can take that to a 0. Just come into my store. I'll help you out. Now, for those of you who know piercings, you don't take a high, like that high number to a 0, because you'll ruin your ear. You can rip your ear, like, you know. And so it's kind of like a small little cone thing, and you're kind of stretching your ear. And they'll tell you like a professional will say, you can only go to like a 6. Then come back in 2 weeks and you can go to a 3 and come back. It's kind of like the body's like that. Dr. Brad uses the Pez example. He'll say the body will only allow one Pez out, and then he says, no, I'm going to do my work, and then you open up another Pez. So there's more Pez's like kind of waiting, which will provide deeper healing, but it only dispenses one, you know, one at a time.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of like one Pez right here, and it's like there's another one waiting, if that makes sense. But that's a good question. Anybody else have any questions or anything you want to?
Caroline had asked, in terms of, would this be useful for night terrors? Just in one session, would you be able to do something, or would it be like a extended process, or do you not know until you speak to the client?
Yeah, so if there's a body code practitioner that muscle tests how many sessions you need to get rid of night terrors, run like the opposite way, because he can't really tell that. But our whole job is to remove as many imbalances that the body allows within that 20 to 30 minute slot. And we just keep releasing. Now, what have I seen in regards to night terrors? I've worked with a lot of children that have had night terrors. I've been having very good success that in one session, I've had at least 3 or 4 times that in one session I can get rid of all their night terrors in one session. And I did it as a complimentary because if you do have children, it's so sad to see children have night terrors. And the reason why it really hit me a lot is because my own son has night terrors, and I'm trying to like snap him out of it. And he looks like totally out of it. And to tell you what the 3 culprits are, is psychic trauma. So psychic trauma that's either inherited or from the mom. And so they felt, basically psychic trauma means you feel 3 trapped emotions all at the same time and it gets stuck in your body. If you look at the picture of psychic trauma in the body code, it's people running away from September 11th. So it's feeling multiple emotions at the same time. And so the mother might have felt something while during 3rd trimester, and then it like horror, fear, and like worry. And then that got stuck in the baby. So it was like, and so the baby has that psychic trauma, and it always gives them sort of an edge, like a little worry, anxiety edge. So there's that one thing. The second thing I found is inherited emotions, like an inherited terror, inherited panic, or inherited, these big ones. And the last one is possession, like some type of entity, disembodied spirit or evil spirit. It's kind of sad, but they do get attached to kids, and if once I remove it, that baby sleeps like nobody.
So what about in adults? Like if, for example, somebody had night terrors throughout their life, adulthood.
Yeah, like I said, it could still be the psychic traumas playing a big role in their life. I still see entities with adults. Adults have entities too. So what would attract an entity would be very low frequency energies. So Dr. Brad's very, very big on, like, if you're going to remove an entity from someone, which is basically someone who had a body but then doesn't have a body, and then they latch onto you on the other side. What's funny is I know it's kind of dark, yeah, and there's also demons too, which
Can you see that in me then when we do this work? Can you check for the critters?
I could check that.
Let's do that, because I can feel them around sometimes.
Sure. Can we do it right now?
I can tolerate. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can check that, and yeah, let me do that real quick. Let me see.
And it's kind of like, okay, people, hang out if you want, but occasionally it's annoying.
By the way, before I do that, I just want to tell you that Dr. Brad, there are some very, very successful doctors, chiropractors, like big top people that use the body code like as sort of like their arm, like artillery to help people out. And that was the one thing that he was very nervous to put out in the body code was spirits. Yeah, because but he kept praying about it. And the thing that bothered him the most is that what spirits do, which is they create depression, trouble moving forward in life, problems, and then also suicidal thoughts. See, all that comes from an entity being connected to you or a demon. And he said that it was really sad that there's external forces that it has nothing to do with your life, nothing to do with the way your parents raised you, nothing even to do with your inherited emotions, that it's something even way external. That's why they're called offensive energies that are affecting you. And it's not fair that we don't have some way to combat it. So he was kind of bouncing back and forth. Should I put it in the body code? People will discount my whole body code system, until he got yelled at by 4 spirits for the whole night. They were just yelling at him, and he was saying, yeah, he basically was being yelled at by 4 spirits. And he told me, I was in the table when he said that. He's like, I was being yelled at by 4 spirits for a very long time, all night. And I just said, if you guys are this upset, then I need to put in the body code.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about integrity, and what I love about us as humans, where, we can take what we want and leave what we don't. We don't have to discount a whole tradition or a whole person just because something doesn't fit. Nobody has to be force-fed. You're an adult,
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I've been around suicidality my whole life because of my work, but equally I've been suicidal and had many suicide attempts before I actually became aware of what we need to do to thrive in life. So check it, because I feel energy so profoundly.
Sure, I would love to check it. So let me see real quick. So make sure we're still connected here. So yeah, so we're good. And let me check the body code of my phone real quick. I just want to see. And we're not gonna. Here's the funny thing is, why wouldn't I just if I did find the entity, why would I not? Why would I just not remove it? Just remove it, right? And some people who are spiritual people just say, in the name of Jesus Christ, get out of it. Yeah, that's great. But the problem is, a poppy may have energies in her body that attracted this demon or spirit in the first place. So if you do it, it's only temporary. It's only time before another entity gets attracted to the low frequency energy that poppy has. For example, if she has a no will to live energy, which is a real energy of when she wanted to give up and throw the towel, she may pass that age and she's okay, better now mentally, she's highly stable, but that energy is still back there that could trigger her at any second. and that's like a bell for spirits. They're like, oh look, she has 4 no will to live.
Out loud and tell them a different message, please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they might come to you and be like, well, she's really, if we just push her a little bit, she'll have no will to live again, and then she might take her life, and then 1-0.
Wouldn't that be? I mean, I appreciate this is quite out there, this conversation, but wouldn't that be just tragic that there are young, vulnerable energies in us humans, and there's just, we're being moved and pushed because our frequency is so low, and we're eating so poorly, and we're hanging out with toxic people, and we're not drinking our water, and we're not sleeping well, and we're tolerating, and then we got ghosts and spirits fucking it up as well. I mean, Jesus.
Yep.
Oh my word.
Okay, let's see. Do you have any? Let me see this. So let me ask a question. Do you have any entities connected with you at all? Yeah. See. I hate to say this, but you do. Is this an evil spirit though? Okay. The good news is not an evil spirit, but
okay, because there are a few that are cool. So don't.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: is there's no evil spirit, but is there a disembodied spirit? There is. So, and this one, like I said, very similar symptoms of disembodied spirit, evil spirits, is that depression, dark suicidal thoughts, inability to move ahead in life. So let's get rid of it real quick.
Where would it go?
Yeah. So I'm gonna first of all, I'm gonna ask: are there any underlying, how do I say this? Are there any imbalances that are making you vulnerable or attractive to these entities? Guess what your body says? Bingo. Yeah, so I have to find these. So Dr. Brad's like, don't leave these energies, these low frequency energies in her so she attracts something again. So let's see. All right, energies. Psychology, emotional, mental, something post-traumatic, okay? Right side, left side. Physical trauma? No. So there's a psychic trauma that's attracting this one. So remember how I told you, we were just talking about this, 3 emotions, 2 or 3 trapped emotions. Let me see. So how many trapped emotions are in this psychic trauma? Is it more than 1, more than 2, more than 3? No, there's 2 of them in here. There's usually 2 or 3. So I'm going to find out what these are real quick. I'm going to give you the age. And this is one of the energies that attracted this spirit here.
When I talk over you while you're working, does that confuse you? Or you?
No, go ahead. No.
So what I would say to any of us guys is, we got this life is happening now, right? Again, anything, take what you want, leave what you don't. If it's useful, let's keep doing it. If it isn't, okay, you don't have to do it,
And you know what? The pudding comes when there's less, when you can willingly say, like, I have been feeling less suicidal, or I'm just feeling more peace with myself. And when I see someone who has depression, and I'll mention a story right at the end. I want to share with you guys a story that's going to be included in this new book called Healing the Dead, which is Dr. Brad's new book coming out. But he told me, when I told him at the sushi dinner like a week ago, he told me, he's like, that needs to be in my new book coming out. And so it was one of my clients that what he witnessed. And I think you guys will really like the story. Okay, let's see the next. So I found self-abuse, being hard on yourself. Now let's see what the next one is here. Okay. So lost. So not feeling grounded and then beating yourself up. So both. Let's see, when did you feel this? See, 40 years old now, 40, 30, 20, 22, 23. So this is 24 years old, 22, 23. Something around 24. Did anything ring a bell that why you felt kind of not grounded, and then you also were kind of being hard on yourself around that time?
Horrendous time.
Yeah. So do we need to know more about this? No. Let's just release this psychic trauma here. This is another one you might want to take a deep breath on, because psychic traumas aren't small things there. Is there another psychic trauma here? No. Is there a hidden one? No. Is there any other energy that's attracting this disembodied spirit? Actually, your body said no. So good. So this is the major one, is this psychic trauma that happened at 24. And I'm guessing it was probably a rough year that year, or there was something rough about it. Yeah. So you know what that's about. So so let's remove it real quick. Okay. So
where does that disembodied spirit thing go?
It just goes away, and hopefully it doesn't bother someone else that has another low frequency. But there's a possibility. I mean, I wish I could.
Seven light, whatever that was, because that's wow.
Yeah. So let's get rid of it. Let's see. Yeah,
boogers. Lisa's saying boogers. I had a a psychic session. She knew nothing about me, and she said, "You've got all these things," and I'm like, "Hello, yes."
Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to do this. Let me say this. So in the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to depart from this person and to never bother her again. Okay, so is this entity or disembodied spirit connected with you anymore? And body says no. Is there any other, I'm going to ask, is there a hidden disembodied spirit? No. A hidden evil spirit? No. Evil spirit? No. Yeah, you're good. In that department, you are good. So take a deep breath in there. And trust me, Poppy, this is a real thing. In the next day or two, today or tomorrow, you might feel, I don't know how to say this, kind of like a fog being lifted off you, or like kind of just, maybe you might start thinking clear. That's because kind of like when you're in the fog all the time, you just forget that you're in the fog. Does that make sense? And you have this thing kind of like on top of you. So just pay attention to how you feel the next 2 days. I want to share with you guys one really quick story, if you guys don't mind, and then I'll end here. I know this was a hard one.
Just on that disembodied spirit thing, what was it doing hanging out with me? Just kind of like a leech going, I'm going to suck my energy.
Yeah, just you know, like, okay, well, actually, let me tell you what this disembodied spirit does. In fact, it's funny, like, yeah, so it was a female one too, by the way. So in regards to, you know, what it was.
One question, because I'm curious.
Wait, you're what? Oh, can you see me?
I can see you.
Yeah, sorry, what did you say?
So what can you just muscle test? Was it her the day that I'm thinking? Was that her?
Okay, the day that you're thinking, was that her? Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay. It was. No. Okay, so here's what's interesting. And you know it's funny. Poppy learns one thing and then she applies it right away. How cool is that? That's how you know someone's like a master teacher and learner. Is that I just told her today that if you just think of it in your head, I can muscle test, and she just did it right now. She's like, she just kept a memory private, and I just muscled. Sorry, I just had to give you some congratulations. That was awesome.
Oh, Elvis saying, tell us the story, Emmanuel. Sorry.
Yeah, so just real quick. I think you guys really appreciate this. So let me see. August. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share this story with you guys. This was a client of mine. I love this. My name is Augustin R. I wish there was a better way. I'm reading an email, by the way. So I wish there was a better way to say this, but I can see spirits. I've always been able to. Near the end of May 2018, I was meeting over a video call with Emmanuel Zavios. My heart wall has been cleared, so we were working to release whatever else was contributing to my depression. So just a little inside story. He was at a 9 with depression, and he was telling me he was like around a 3 or 4 after we cleared the heart wall. So I said, let's keep working on depression. And he said, so Emmanuel found a disembodied spirit that had latched onto me around the age of 14. After saying that, the spirit revealed itself to me. It stood at the doorway between my bedroom and the living room where I sat. It had no features, just a blank white figure in a hunched posture. In that moment, I had to tell Emmanuel. And to tell you guys even a little inside story, when I was working with him, his face turned absolutely pale, and he slowly turned to the right, and he couldn't stop looking at it. And I had to stop the session. I was like, hey, are you okay over there? He's like, it's here. Like, he was absolutely frightened. And he said, I could not take my eyes off it. So I listened as Emmanuel made progress in removing it from me. As he did so every time what he's talking about is I was starting to remove the imbalances. Watch this. The way he saw it was this. He says, as he did so, the spirit would flicker out of my vision and reappear a few feet closer to me. So Emmanuel asked when I was ready to be finished with it, the spirit was nose and nose with me. So Emmanuel released it and immediately began not to flicker, but to walk away, facing me the whole time until he was out of my sight. So the following day, it felt like all the negativity the spirit had fed me was bubbling up. I experienced horrible despair, panic to the point of feeling suicidal. Little side note, I removed a no will to live energy. He probably didn't remember that, but that's why he was in this processing time, he felt an echo of being suicidal again because I released that from him. So all these leftover feelings had to burn out before I could get rid of them. Once the day had ended, these feelings and the spirit's influence over me had died. About a month later, I'm the most content I remember being in many years. I've never been so happy to lose something. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a very powerful story. So Dr. Brad heard that and he said that needs to be in his next book. He was excited about it. So we're gonna end our show. We went a little bit over to
Look at the work that this man's doing. Again, we take what we want, we live what we don't. But either way, he's putting love, isn't he, into the world, not anything else. So Thank you. You're amazing.
No, yeah. Thank you for being so open. And I want to thank, Poppy's Tribe or anyone that's watching this. Like I said, if you can try to share this video with people, because, share it on your wall, maybe put your insight on top of it. Like there's a saying that says that people don't really care what you know until they know how much you care. So what if you put a special message, hey, to my friends, I learned this, but today maybe this might be beneficial to you, then post it. It's a lot more meaningful than just sharing something. So with that, everyone have a great day. We'll see each other next week on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Coding Alternative or on Poppy's page too.
How do people get you? Email.
Oh yeah, that's right. And for those of you who are interested in moving forward, and they're like, I want to clear my heart wall, or I want to work on different facets of my life, we have these different package sessions that we can facilitate for you from Coding Alternative. And so you can just email us at codingalternative@gmail.com. So if somebody wants to post down the email there, codingalternative@gmail.com, you can email me. And then I can send you a link with kind of, or you can also check the sort of the different services we provide by going on codingalternative.com or Coding Alternative on Facebook, and then just clicking on the services section, then you can kind of see different ways you can move forward. So, all right, guys, you guys have an amazing day, everyone. Look forward to seeing you guys next week, and we'll be in touch soon. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.